Good morning. Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live. I'm Tony Hatate at Hatate10, and I'm joined today by at Sean Martin TCW. Sean Martin, how you doing?
All good, Tony. All good. Excited.
And the more astute of the viewers and commenters will see, we're also joined by somebody else, a new formation of the Three Amigos, and we are joined by new Celtic Way journalist Ryan McGinlay at the Ryan McGinlay, and Ryan is joining us, new recruit. We've been dipping into the transfer market, haven't we, Sean? Brought in young Ryan here. I always call everybody who's younger than me young, but there you go. And you might recognise Ryan, who also has been doing podcasts with the Celtic, the Thunder. If you don't, there's young Ryan anyway. Ryan, welcome aboard. Woo, 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 and all that kind of stuff. Big build up there, Ryan. It's all downhill from here.
Thank you very much. That was a lovely intro. Thanks very much for that. Yeah, I'm delighted to be here. I'm delighted to get started on one of these briefings. Glad to be here and thanks for having me.
You should have heard the one he gave Martin O'Neill, Ryan. That's all I'll say.
I don't live up to him, unfortunately.
To which Martin replied, "Thank you for that long and laboured intro, Tony." But there you go. So, hey, if you've had the Mickey taken at you by Martin O'Neill, you can retire wrestling happily, can't you? Now, guys, first and foremost, we'll do the housekeeping, but you've got to get involved, Sean. Last couple of days, you can win 2 tickets for the Celtic and Rangers Scottish Cup semi-final at Hampden, all for the click of a button. £4 for 4 months it will cost you, for unlimited access for everything we do on the website, everything that's written on the website. Subscribe and hit that button, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. That's www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. Guys, what a prize that is. Ryan, top prize, 2 tickets. Celtic Rangers on Sunday.
Absolutely, you can't get any better than that. It's massive, biggest game of the season, you would say as well. So I get involved.
Especially if you didn't get in the ballot, Ryan. Is that right?
Yeah. 3 times, yeah. 3 ballots sold out.
Once, twice, 3 times a failure, Ryan. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
I went in the ballot, Sean, not in personal life or career or anything like that. Sean, good prize, eh?
Brilliant prize, Tony. Brilliant prize.
Excellent. And we also say thank you to our sponsors, SENECA Medical Group. And as everybody knows, the Celtic Way Morning Briefing is now sponsored by SENECA Medical Group. SENECA are the #1 hair transplant company in Europe, and they offer innovative hair restoration treatments. And you can find out more about SENECA via the links in the description of this video. Ryan, you'll no need to worry about that, to be fair to you. So,
not yet, anyway. Not yet.
a wee veiled elbow next to it.
That's a fine head of hair, your man's sporting, I have to say. There you have it. Now, guys, Celtic never sleeps, does it? And yesterday, we woke up to the post-split fixtures being revealed. Sean, I love how these random computers randomly selected 2 away games. First one at Tynecastle, second one at Ibrox. Let's just say they're making Celtic go and win it, aren't they, Sean?
They are, aye, they are. But first, Tony, I've got a wee bit of news to tell everybody. As you have.
Sorry, yes, you have. I meant to throw over to you.
Aye, you failed, Tony, once, twice, 3 times. A failure.
Right.
So I suppose, Tony, I should say something glib. It's in with the new and therefore out with the old. But I really just want to earnestly say that this is actually my last few days on this video with Tony and the guys, because I'm moving on to another job outside of journalism. Tony, no tears. Ryan, no laughing. But
I can't guarantee there won't be tears and beaches talkers on Friday, but I'll try, or Harry Potter's, whatever way you want to look at it.
Well, somebody asked, Michael Ross says, did Tony just do a woo-woo when he was introducing Ryan? It might be a wah-wah come Friday, Tony. But no, Friday will be my last appearance on here, outside of any guest spots, if you will have me, of course, Tony. But although I'm leaving, I'm still intending to do a semi-regular column for the website, so you're not totally getting rid of me. But aye, anyway, lads, enough about me, but what about the Celtic, Tony?
What about the Celtic? Hearts and Rangers, the first 2 away games. Bring it on, I say. If they're going to make us win it, go and win it. Doesn't matter where they play. Just go and do it. Go and do it. And actually, do you know what? See, after the SFA or whatever random computer spat that out, I'd love Celtic to go and win 2 of those games, just out of sight, and just say, right, fine. And I'm sure the manager had a wee say about it yesterday, didn't he? And he was kind of like strange that he never got a home game. Tell you what, go to Hearts, go to Tynecastle, go to Ibrox, go and win them in style.
Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. I always think we're better off when we're getting the more difficult games because we've got a target there. We've got to beat the better teams in the league. I know Hearts have had a bit of iffy form recently, but they got a good win last time out against Ross County, and Rangers takes care of itself. I feel like we're playing Rangers every second week at this point. Can't get enough of them, obviously. It's good if you're winning, but...
Just can't get enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Just get as many Celtic songs as I can in there. You've got to beat these teams. This is why we're in the split. It's a reward to be in the top half of the split. You're playing against the best teams in the league, and you've got to beat what's in front of you. And the more difficult game, the better it's been for Ange Postecoglou, I think. So, I bring them all on.
Sean? I got a lot of lovely comments, by the way. I'm not going to throw them all up, but I do appreciate them, guys. I have noticed them all, favourited them a wee bit, and I'll go away and have my own wee wah-wah. Tony's away. Look, sorry. Alan Wood saying, I thought Sean was the boss. I am, but I'm going. So, leaves a void, and Tony will be calling a shots there, I think. But that's why I'm saying, if you'll have me back on.
I'm never a boss, man. I'm a man of the people.
Like Bruce Springsteen there, the boss, eh?
Yeah.
I'm not going to throw them all, but I really do appreciate them. I quite like this one from Charlie McGarvey, which is slightly more than a wee menacing hint to it. We know where you live, Sean. You're going nowhere. But no, I've got a wee graphic here, as I always do. In case
always got a graphic, Ryan. You know what I mean?
In case you didn't know, he was actually there when I made it, wasn't you, Ryan?
Yeah, I was there.
Just in case you weren't sure or you haven't seen it in full or whatever, sure you have, but that's the post-split fixtures there. Tony, I know you and Aidan yesterday discussed some possibilities, and then it was released about lunchtime. I mean, did you expect a potential title clincher at Tynecastle away on the same day as, well, just 45 minutes before, actually, Rangers play Aberdeen at Ibrox with a bank holiday Monday the next day as well?
That's a good planning all round, I thought there, Sean. You know what I mean? It's you couldn't make it up, really, could you? I had my father on the phone yesterday, going off his nut about the fixtures. And I'm like, Dad, you're 70 odds, 73, 74. I'm like, calm down. It doesn't matter. You've got to play them. I'm with Ryan on this. You've got to play them at some point. So just, we'll play them whenever. It doesn't matter. And he was saying the same, that they're making you go and do it the hard way and win it. No, go and win it then. And I quite embrace this fixture split. Go and win it in style. Show everybody why you're the champions. That's what I think. And I think that's the kind of message Ange will be drumming into the players. You know, because it doesn't really matter how many points you win the title by, whether it's 13, 15, 10 or 1. You know, Celtic are one victory away from winning their second consecutive title under Ange Postecoglou. So, yeah, I embrace this, and I would love, I'd go all Kevin Keegan, I would love it. If Celtic reeled off 5 victories, Sean, and you get the 5 ticks, and the 7 ticks the last time. So I would love it if Celtic actually went undefeated, broke that goal scoring record in the process, and broke the club's record points tally in the process as well. I think it'd be a wonderful celebration of this second title and this particular team. So yeah, there's a lot to play for, a lot of things still to happen, I guess, with that. But as I said, you're constantly shifting goalposts, aren't you? And the manager will be telling his players, bigger, better, stronger. That's what he promised the team would come back, didn't he? The second season. So there's a few wee goals there, personal goals. And I think if you're a professional footballer, you take pride in these things. So I think the Celtic players will be going for it big time in the last 6, hopefully 7 games that are left in the season.
Ryan, on a positive note, trophy day, final day of the season versus Aberdeen at home. It's kind of a full circle moment because the opening fixture was Aberdeen at home on July 31st, eh?
Yeah, I like that symmetry that goes with it. First start of the season, and then the last game of the season. We get the flag day in the first day, and then the trophy at the end. That sounds good to me. Always like a big game at the end of the season. I think it's good that it's Aberdeen, because Aberdeen will want to finish as high as they can. They'll probably still be playing for third, you would think, at that point. So it should be a good game in prospect. And Celtic Aberdeen always takes care of itself. It's one of the big games in the fixture diary, so it's a good game to finish off with.
You could get used to this, Sean, though, couldn't you? Playing a team on the opening day and then playing them again on trophy presentation day. I like the sound of that.
Aberdeen will not be liking it, I don't think, but the support act for two big days in Celtic season. But listen, the way Aberdeen are playing at the moment, depending, I mean, I don't think so, just judging by this team and what they're like. But there was a time, remember, where Aberdeen beat Celtic at Parkhead to make sure they get second. Can't see that happening this time. But the way Barry Robson's got them playing, even if it is a trophy day, and even if everything else is sorted, like obviously the title will be sorted, but even if Aberdeen's final placing is sorted by that day, given Barry Robson's almost an elongated audition, and the way that he's played and the way that he's approached his game so far, he'll probably still be wanting to upset it for former Celtic player or not.
Without a doubt, he'll be coming looking for a win, won't he? So I've always liked Barry Robson. I think he's quite a popular player.
I really liked him. Liked him as a player.
I think most people liked him for that big kind of elbow into Christian Daly very early doors. And
but that whole running, Tony, you remember I basically wrote an ode to Robson and Hartley about that 7-game run-in at the end of the 07-08 season. Barry Robson he's obviously not going to go down as probably any more than maybe a cult hero, because he wasn't there long enough and maybe wasn't there with the likes of Nakamura and all that kind of stuff that he played alongside. But I really liked him. He's one of those for the Joe Ledley ilk for me. Like, it's just a really good player that I really enjoyed watching and was kind of one of my favourites. Charlie Mulgrew was up there as well with the Joe Ledley team and all that. But Barry Robson fits into that mould for me.
He was one of those guys who had a wee touch of guile and a bit of class about him.
He was underrated, I think.
He's very underrated I thought he was a technically gifted footballer, you know. So and obviously drove that penalty right down the middle when he scored in the 3-2 game.
Scored with his first touch as well against his future employer.
He did indeed.
I think he was one of those guys. Obviously, left foot, and you go, cultured left foot and all that. But he took free kicks, he took corners, he took penalties. He wasn't just a hard-working player. He wasn't just an industrious player. Same as Paul Hartley wasn't. Before he came to Celtic, he was a goal-scoring midfielder for Hearts. But the two of them, because of the talent that surrounded them and where they get played centre mid for that running, you kind of remember that they changed the title race that year, and it was because of their kind of hard work and all that. But the two of them were actually quite good technically as well.
And he scored a 50-yard header against Barcelona, didn't he? You know what I mean? It's further out. Talk about it, didn't it? You know what I mean? So
it took about 5 minutes to get on in the back of the net. Honestly, it was one of those crazy goals.
Slow motion goals, indeed. But no, I like him and I wish him all the best, Barry Robson. And if he gets the Aberdeen gig, good luck to him. But just don't want him to win on the last day of the season, obviously. So that goes without saying. But Neil Reid remembers Robson's goal against Barcelona. Indeed. Now the manager was speaking about the fixtures as well, Sean and Ryan, and he was a wee bit disappointed that Celtic didn't get a home fixture and all of that to kick it off. But I think that's right up his street now, isn't it? And I think he'll be doing what I said. Right, let's go and win it. Let's go and win the style. Let's just keep our own counsel and we'll sort it out amongst the players. And I like that. I mean, he's quite right to voice his opinion on it. But he has done that now. Get down to business. Just tick them off.
Exactly. I mean, what he said was it's always a bit of a challenge anyway. Yeah. Because you've got to get it done. It's still a 38-game season. It kind of goes with what you say. You've got to beat them anyway at some point. So it doesn't really matter. But he did say that he would have liked to have had at least one home game in the first two. Yeah. Because, obviously they can clinch the title. He also says it just means that our supporters won't see us for 3 weeks. I suppose some will see them at Tynecastle, obviously. But I get what he means. He means that whole kind of celebration, that 60th Parkhead, all that kind of stuff. He said it would have been nice, times a game about you says, Tony, but ultimately it is what it is. Just got to deal with what's before us. He mentioned Stephen Naismith taking over as interim Hearts manager. Said they get a great result. It's always a challenge at Tynecastle anyway. So it would be a good place to go and win it, because basically he says you're going to need to earn it if you win it at Tynecastle. But aside from what we've already spoken about in terms of, we never really said about policing, but that was the kind of thing that was hanging over what we were saying about it being May the 7th, same day as Rangers play at Ibrox, play Aberdeen at Ibrox as well, which is always a testy affair. they'll be coming back in at City Centre. Celtic fans, if they win at Tynecastle, will be coming back from Edinburgh, congregating at Gallagate. So the policing aspect of that, Coronation Weekend or not, I think there'll be questions to be answered there if anything kicks off. So apart from anything else, there's a wee element of it I kind of like, Tony, and it's the fact that July 31st, 2021 at Tynecastle was Postecoglou's first ever Premiership match, and it ended in a loss. Prompted some questions. And I remember I did the ratings for that game, Ryan. I was telling you about this in the office the other day because I thought I was a jinx. I had the West Ham game and then the Hearts game in my first two for the site. And I wrote after that I could see that there was a bit of belief in the team, that they were trying to give his way of playing a go, and he just needed a bit more belief from the guys who appointed him to help make it work. He's had that since, and he's answered virtually any question that anyone has had over him, his team, his style, or anything else since then. And now it's Tynecastle that's the venue at which he's able to clinch his second straight Premiership title. I like that sort of stuff. I like it a lot.
I love storylines like that. Even to go with the Aberdeen one as well, with the start of the season, end of the season. In fact, that was where Ange started his domestic sort of career for Celtic anyway. And then the fact that he can clinch his second title, that just sounds great to me. It's you know what it's going to be like at Tynecastle, hostile atmosphere. The fans, they hate you, they hate your existence. But if you're going to win it, you might as well win it there against people who will absolutely hate it if you win. So, bring them on.
Yes, indeed, Ryan. That's one way of looking at it. I think my old man was just annoyed at it when he see it. He might not see it, as you say, John, in front of 60,000. You know, and he's got all season, his season ticket holder and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think I think next to Ibrox, that's the best place to go and win a title. Tynecastle, in my opinion, it's a real bear pit of a stadium. It's good old-fashioned stadium. They're on top of you. The atmosphere's always hostile, and I just think it brings the best out in Celtic at times. And your man was the hero the last time, Sean, they were there. Yep. Unlike the hero Greg Taylor stabbing home the fourth and the 4-3 win. You know, I'd love a kind of rip snorter of a game like that, as long as Celtic come out in the right end of the scoreline. What a way that would be to do it, or go and batter them. I mean,
which has been also known to happen.
Yeah, so. Correct. Mm-hmm. So, and I just think there's, whatever happened with the split, it doesn't matter. Steve McGrory said it the other day, came on and said it's a case of our job with the fixtures, split fixtures. Mm-hmm. It is what it is now. So just get down to business, be as professional and clinical as you can, and go there and just. I would like a wee couple of statement wins in those 2 week games, Sean. Mm-hmm. I think it'd be great, and see if they did get that. I think the rest would just follow into place. I think they could relax and
muscle memory almost.
Right into the Scottish Cup final. Should they win on Sunday, and that's obviously a game of preview.
I agree with you, Tony. I think there's every chance it is a rip snorter, as you called it, because not to go too stats heavy for a moment, because I've not got them in front of me if no other reason, but games against Hearts under Postecoglou tend to be some of the highest kind of XG games between both sides, whether it would be because penalties in it or maybe not, but there have been a few penalties against Hearts, for Hearts as well, but so the statistics back that up as well, that it might very well be a humdinger. Yeah. But as you say, as long as Celtic come out the right side, it doesn't really matter if it's 1-0 or 5-1. But
yeah, Ryan, you listen to all this XG and all that caper, you need to swat up in that. You're all that.
Absolutely.
Oh, he's got his homework already, Tony, as you know.
You're all that's giving it. Giraffes, get off
that. I'm kind of grown up with these stats anyway, so I know roughly about them, so I'll get to know them more and more, I'm sure.
As I've said before, I deal on AG actual goals. You know what I mean? I've got 4 eyes to look at actual goals.
If we can replicate the game against Hearts, the last time we were at Tynecastle, we were doing quite well because that was 3-0 and it was quite comfortable. So if we can replicate that, that'd be ideal.
Yeah. Michael Ross saying rip snorter, not sure how I feel about that phrase, and he comes in saying he prefers humdinger to rip snorter.
That's fine.
A matter of taste, isn't it, Tony?
Yes, exactly, correct. Each to their own. There you go. Oh, we know it's going to be blood and thunder, isn't it? Or the Celtic the thunder, as you would say, Ryan.
Nice plug, I like that.
Yeah, I hope you link the free advertising there. But
yes,
loving it, absolutely loving it.
Yeah, listen, never a dull day when we talk about the Celtic guys. You know that. But Ange gave us a bit of an injury update as well. Sean spoke about Hatate, Jota, and Abada. Are you hopeful 2 of them, 3 of them, all 3 will be in the squad, or do you expect a couple of them to start?
Well, right. What he said was, right, we'll see how they go. Abada, Jota and Hatate due to train all week. So it'll just come down to how they go during the training week. And he says that kind of thing quite often. But he did say, like, he explicitly says if they get through their training week, then they will be available. I suppose after that, it depends on whether you feel that when he says available, it's for a starting berth or just in the squad. If they're training, all bets are off as to this predicted 11 at the weekend, Tony. It'll be by the way, Ryan will be in it, so it'll be a baptism of fire, Ryan. You'll be up, I presume you'll be up all night sweating over whether it's Hatate or Iwata. That might just be me.
Absolutely.
That might just be me, but no, I think, Tony, that if all 3 end up making the squad, it's a big boost. I would imagine that Jota is maybe the most likely to start, given that he's been out for the shortest time. But really, who knows? I get the impression that if Hatate trains all week, or trains well all week, I find that Postecoglou probably has the faith to put him straight back in. Abada, I think even if he is fit, he'll be on the bench. But I suppose, what's the upshot anyway? Hatate on the bench, and then maybe a midfielder, McGregor, O'Reilly, and then either Moy or Iwata. That's not too bad anyway. And then up front, Maida and Kyogo, and then one of the returnees or Haksabanovic. Again, it's not that they're down to bare bones either way. So, again, that predicted 11 is going to keep me up.
Or the XI, as the young boy even calls it.
That's not a start, by the way, Ryan.
It's just his own turn of phrase for predicted 11s, the XI. But there you go. Nah, Ryan, I mean, you try and, as I've often said on, you try and read between the lines and connect the dots, don't you, when Ange Postecoglou is speaking? And I always say the devil's in the detail in it, so you need to listen to what he's saying. So I think Sean was saying there, these guys train all week, you would expect them to be in the squad, and I don't think he would have any qualms about throwing Hatate straight back in, because a lot of people saying the midfield's been missing a wee bit of a dynamic since he came out. It's probably noticeable. I just, there's a real psychological mind game there, isn't there? But if you're putting Hatate in, Hatate was a difference between the sides in the cup final, wasn't he? And I think if Hatate's fit and ready to go, he walks back into that team, because I think if you're Rangers, you're like, he's back, on our type thing. So, correct. But I just think there's all sorts of mind games going on here, psychological stuff, and so I wouldn't surprise me if Hatate started. Let's put it that way.
Ryan, Scotland, the Brave saying he thinks that Jota and Hatate will start. And then he thinks Liel Abada to come on and end Borna Barisic's career off the bench with 2-0. What's your thoughts?
I'd like that reunion between Abada and Barisic to happen again for sure. He's had his fair share of. Is
that the back post?
Yeah, I remember the James sit down sort of edit for Barisic when he was running past him for the goal. It'd be great to see Hatate back in the team. I think out of the 3, I agree with you, Sean. I think it will be Jota that starts. I think if Jota he's fit, if he's fit at all, he's only been out, 2 or 3 weeks. If he's fit, he's going to start the game. He's got to. He's scored goals against Rangers before. He knows this fixture. But if Hatate's fully fit, then I wouldn't be surprised if Ange brings him in. I mean, you don't want to bring him in though when he's half fit, because we've seen when he's not 100% how he can perform in these games, especially in the semi-final last year. He struggled a lot to sort of get himself into that game. But if he's fully fit, then I'd be more than happy to put him back in the team. He's got that bit between his teeth when he's playing Rangers recently. I mean, even in his debut, the 2 goals. But yeah, he knows, he understands the assignment when he plays against Rangers, and I'd love to see him back in the team. But we're stacked if he doesn't play, or if he's only on the bench. We've got players that can come in and make a difference anyway. So we're in a pretty good position, I would say.
I like that word. See, you said that there, Tony. You can tell he's an NBA fan when he says we're stacked. It's an NBA term. Derek Crawford saying he thinks McGregor, Iwata and O'Reilly will start, Hatate and Moy on the bench. Again, that's not even mentioning Turnbull, by the way, who scored. They scored against Rangers this season. So, Ryan's right. It is stacked. And this is kind of what I was meaning, that I would prefer, obviously, still I think my ideal midfield is McGregor, Hatate, O'Reilly. Moyes obviously made that very difficult the way that he's been playing for me to keep saying that. But ultimately, even the way Iwata's come in and played the last couple of games when he's had a chance has been positive enough where even if it's what Derek says, McGregor, Iwata and O'Reilly, Tony, nobody's really going to go, oh no.
No, because they've seen what Iwata's brought to the table since he's come in with the 2 starts, and I think it's 10 or 11 appearances now he's made, and he's looked every inch the player. I just think there's a comfort blanket with Hatate, isn't there? At this moment in time, because he's a Player of the Year contender and he's been excellent all season. Iwata, I don't think anybody would complain if it is, as you say, Calmac, Iwata and O'Reilly. I don't think anybody would be bothered at that. There's still a lot of creativity there. And if Hatate is to feature from the bench, then that's another good thing. But I don't know, there's just something inside me that thinks that Hatate might play. I just have a feeling that he's been told to get himself fit for this game.
Mm-hmm.
Not take any unnecessary risk in the games leading up to it, but this is the big kind of hurrah, the shot of history and all that, trying to get an 8th domestic treble. So I think that's been his target from since he's been out. The manager said, get yourself fit for Hampden on April the 30th. I could be completely wrong on that, but I'm just...
Come Friday.
Manager.
Come Friday when he's asked the squad update question and how people have trained and all that, and if he says any permutation of the words, Rail has trained well all week, I'll be alright, he's starting. That will seal it for me.
Yeah.
You never know with Ange Postecoglou, to be honest, but that will seal it for me, I think. Helen Feet's coming in saying she just loves when Hatate and Jota both start, look forward to the game. Susan Finlay but says Hatate's been out too long to go straight back in, and I do see the logic in that, but at the same time you're at the business end of the season. He's played virtually the whole season. He's already shown with the amount of starts he got in a row that he has that faith in him to keep playing him week in, week out. So I don't, it's not like he's been out for 3 months. I do think that if he comes Friday and says he's been training well all week, I think he's starting him.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Ryan, that's what I just said there a second ago, that he's been primed to play in this game. He's been told, look, we'll not take any unnecessary this way, and the mother will game apart. Celtic have coped in his absence. So
yeah,
that they've that strength and depth, as you say, that they're stacked with the talented players. So the one draw apart, everything's been pretty much as you were, wasn't it? So
yeah, I think we really missed his guile on Saturday afternoon. You missed. He's unmarkable. He seems to always make space. Yes, we've got good players such as O'Reilly, who I thought was okay in the first half. On Saturday, had Iwata, but he obviously brings different things to the table. We missed Hatate's X factor, and if we can get that back for Saturday, then that would be absolutely ideal, because they're frightened of him. They are frightened of Hatate. Most teams are in the league, but I think Rangers are more so, because they know how much of an X factor he brings to the team. And if he's available either from the start or from the bench, then it's a big boost for us, I would say.
They've been bumped before is what's happened with Hatate and Abada and Jota and Kyogo and...
I look at the League Cup final, I look at that second goal. Great football goal. Hatate squaring it to his compatriot Kyogo, and I think that Kyogo tunes into that. They both tune into each other's wavelength, so I think Celtic function better as a team from middle to front when Hatate and Kyogo are both on the same pitch. There's quite a kind of, I wouldn't say telepathic understanding, but it's not far off it. They kind of understand each other games perfectly well. So, and I just think it's, if you're the Rangers team, you see Hatate in the Celtic team, you know what's coming.
Yep.
And whether you can stop it or not is another thing. There's one way to stop it, of course, but he's not
if you can get near him. If you can get near him, of course.
I mean, we need to catch him first, don't they? So, So I don't know. I'm inclined to think that, again, Sean, the manager says he's trained well all week, or he's did okay, then I think he's been primed to just get himself fit and ready for this game. And the weeks that he's been out, okay, fine, there might be a slight touch of ring rustiness there, but He's a fit boy. He's a wonderful footballer.
And at the end of the day, it's not like you're saying he's got to play 97 minutes. If he could still play, he could play the 60, he could come off at 65, he could put Aaron Moy on, and that's not bad. Aaron Moy come on in the January the 2nd one for 30 minutes with a feature on it. Stuart Ross dug into 30 minutes of Aaron Moy, we called it. He came on and he swung the derby back in Celtic's favour. Now I know it ended up a draw, but it was almost a defeat. And Aaron Moy was crucial to that, and he only came on for half an hour. So again, it's not as if we're saying, right, he's either going to be fit to play 97 minutes or he's not going to play at all. It could be that he starts and plays 60, 65, and he's more than capable of that, even if he has been out for 4 or 5 weeks. Or he should be if he trains well, as we're saying on Friday. Get a question here from Chilpal, just saying who's the ref on Sunday. It's Willie Collum. And I'll just get you the rest of them as well. The 2 assistants are Daniel McFarlane and Dougie Potter. The 4th official is Don Robertson. And the VAR is Stephen McLean, assisted by Frank Connor. So these are merely the facts.
Yes. Well, you can have opinions on those facts, guys, if you want to throw them into the comment section. But Willie Collum is the man in the middle. You would want to be anywhere but the man in the middle for Sunday. Sean and Ryan, I would conjecture.
Absolutely.
Yep. Aye. I've got another comment here. Just it's not really to do with the game on Sunday. It's more going back to the post-split fixtures. My hash Raja says Hearts have 2 clear weeks to plot and practice a game plan to play Celtic. It will be a tricky game, and I get where he's coming from, and I do think that would only make sense that is what they do. However, I would go back to Aberdeen, who had 5 weeks to plot and said that they were plotting a master plan for the resumption after the World Cup. And then Celtic went up to Pittodrie, and it was one of the most negative displays I've ever seen from a Scottish team, even against Celtic. So just because they've got the time to formulate a game plan to make it a tricky game doesn't mean that they will do it to that effect. And I mean, you know what they say, everybody's got a plan till they get hit in the face. And against Celtic, if Celtic score an early goal, often a game plan goes out the window.
Absolutely. I mean, football's played on the pitch, not on the tactics board, so they can do all the tactics and the preparation that they want. But at the end of the day, it's what happens on the pitch rather than off it, and we'll see how they do when they come up against Celtic. It's completely different, the two, so we'll see how they do.
Indeed, we will, Ryan. Yes, but the thing is, we've said it all season, Sean. We have every confidence in this team to deliver. You know, the manager and whatever personnel he picks to deliver. Doesn't matter what game it is. Mm-hmm. And what domestically, 3 times this season, they've not won a football match. That's good shooting, isn't it?
And I don't want to labour it again. I'll say it for Ryan's benefit because he's not been on before. But we say it all the time, Tony. Basically, every preview show, we go through the form. I say, oh, well, somebody's not winning their away games and how many, or they've got decent home record. And ultimately, whether it's at Parkhead or away, if Celtic turn up, Celtic will win because they've got the best team, they're the best players, they're the best manager. They are just the best team in the country. Now, they might not always turn up. Motherwell game, case in point. Still didn't get beat right enough, but they didn't turn up and it ended up a draw. Disappointing. But regularly, they do turn up more often than not, far more often than not, they turn up, or we wouldn't be talking about them on the precipice of breaking records.
Correct. And as I say, we're talking about the fixtures. You know, you can say that players don't pay attention to these things. Outwardly, they won't if you ask them a straight question about it. But you try to tell me, I mean, Ange said in the lead up to the Motherwell game that one of the records, and he spoke about it, was the goal scoring record. He wants to be the manager of a Celtic team that scores the most ever goals in a season, because that would make him a proud man. And it also speaks volumes about the way he shapes his teams up to play, that attacking style, that attacking philosophy. Imagine Ange Postecoglou going down in the history books as the man who took charge of Celtic team that scored the most ever goals in any one campaign. That's a badge of honour for him. So that he sort of mentioned it last week. So don't tell me that inwardly they're saying, let's go for this, let's have a rip at it. You know, let's see where we can go. I mean, trophy presentation day last year, scudded Motherwell 6-0. You know, so if that record is on the line and these games coming, do you not think they'll be going for it? course they'll be going for it. And I think that's something that will please the manager greatly, more than anything else, just because that's the way he sets his teams up to play. You know, more than the 8th domestic treble, just that particular thing about being a manager of a Celtic team that scored the most ever goals in a season and shattering a record that stood for, 107 years. I think that would be quite the feat, if you ask me, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he does see it as a badge of honour, especially when he's talked in the past about how his dad wanted him to play the game of football and how he wanted to manage, or how he wanted his teams to be managed, or the way that his dad wanted to watch the football. So he'll be looking at that. He'll be looking at that record and being like, I want to break that. I want to be the guy that's orchestrated this sort of goal-scoring machine of a Celtic team. So I think he'll definitely be up for breaking that record, and I think he's got every chance in doing so. Especially, you look at the fixtures, the teams that we've scored a lot of goals against in the past. So, I think he'll be desperate to break that record.
Tony AR says trophies matter, records are a bonus. As always, I'll just say why not both?
Yeah, why can't they do both? And I'm not saying that the trophies don't matter. You heard me say earlier, have a rip at these last 5, 6, 7 games, hopefully, that are left. And if you do that, then you will win those trophies anyway. Well, the league's more or less guaranteed. So you're talking about the Scottish Cup semi-final on Sunday. Take it from there. Win all of those games. 6/7 that are left, hopefully. Tick all the boxes, Sean.
Exactly. Tick them all. Yeah. You know where I stand on it. And just to go back to what you were saying about the trophy day last season.
Yep.
I remember, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, I wrote a kind of opinion piece after it, just saying that given it was all wrapped up, given that it was a day of celebration, I still felt as if the performance that day, the manner in which they went about scoring their goals, the amount of goals they did score, the way that they approached it just in general, it was the ultimate compliment to Ange Postecoglou for the end of his first season. And I don't see any reason that won't be the case again at the end of his second season, put it that way.
Yeah, but listen, it was the epitome of we never stopped, wasn't it? His players never stopped. For the final whistle was blown on trophy presentation day, they kept going for it. They were hungry for more goals. And we spoke about the fact that it was one of the most enjoyable title wins in the club's history. It's up there. It has to be, from what he inherited when he came in the door and the turnaround. And I just think that day typified the unbridled joy that the manager and that set of players have brought to the supporters. And as the manager says, goals bring joy. We spoke about that. Yep, records are made to be broken. And breaking records, you will win trophies because you'll be successful. So I'm not saying that not winning the Scottish Cup is not important to me. It damn well is. I want the treble, but I want Celtic to be ruthlessly efficient from here on in. After the fixture split, just go and have a right good rip at this and play the way the football, play our brand of football, as the manager says, and be hard to stop in the next 6, 7 games. And if you do all of that and play to your potential, you will give teams, as I always say, Sean, an Inverness clack the curtain along the way, won't you? What mine?
Well, that's the thing. I'm going to put this up from Chilpal. Says no team wants to get humped. It's going to be difficult to get the goals record, and every team we play against knows it's there. I would argue with that. One, what they want and what they get is two different things. But also, no team wants to get humped in August or May. It doesn't really matter. It just every game's different, and I think whether they know that the Celtic goals record's there or not, I don't think it will matter, because if Celtic click. Most teams, not all, but most domestic teams play in a similar manner, and they're still on for this goal record if they get a certain amount in the last few games. So that tells you that it's been working all season despite this approach. So I do get where you're coming from, but ultimately, again, what they want and what they get is two different things.
Ryan,
I would say about the fixture split as well. We're playing against teams that, yes, some of them will sit back, but a lot of them, their fans will be expecting them to come out against Celtic. They'll be expecting like to put up a fight against Celtic and potentially get a result. So that should suit us going the other way in terms of attacking. I mean, especially Tynecastle, the Hearts fans won't expect it. The Hearts fans won't accept Hearts to just sit in, and they'll want them to come out and have a go against Celtic, and that should suit us in terms of the goal record, in terms of getting points records as well. Because we'll have the chances against them, and hopefully we get the goals to sort of break that record.
Patrick McLaughlin says his 120 league goals prediction is hanging by a thread now, but you just never know, Tony. You just never know.
You never know. They beat Dundee United 9-0 earlier in the season. People wanted 10, didn't they? So, a couple of fives against St. that kind of stuff. So, yeah, listen, what will be, but don't tell me they'll not be going for it. They'll all be going for it. They'll never admit to going for it because they don't want to fall short if they fall short. But they'll be going for it, all right, because as I say, your personal goals and ambitions, goalposts change along the season, and there's now the last few games to really carve themselves into the Celtic history books. And I think this manager and this set of players would love to do that, and it would actually be quite a fitting way to end the season if they did manage to reel off a treble, 8th domestic treble, the goals record and the points record. I think that that really would be something to celebrate. I think, and it'd be quite fun for this team.
Chilpal just asking what the record is. It's 116. So they're on 103 at the moment with 5 games left. So quick maths, Tony. It's not my strong suit. 14 in the last 5. And they're already averaging 3.12 per game. So statistically, just do what they've been doing all season and they will break it. I've pointed this out before in a couple of columns and on here, and I know it's not strictly speaking the same because nobody really looks at necessarily goals per game. But I think it's like the Hearts team for 58-59 have got it overall. But Celtic's club record, I think, is still the Lisbon Lions season, 66-67, but it was a 34-game season, so they scored 111. But the average per game is higher than even this the record season from Willie Maley's team. It doesn't look as if they'll be able to eclipse the team from 66-67, but then I suppose who could in any way, Tony. But the fact that they're even there or thereabouts is testament to them, isn't it?
Even if they did statistically, I think the 66-67 team would still be the bar.
Oh, of course, aye.
The gold standard bar that all other Celtic teams are kind of measured by, Ryan, isn't it? So
yeah, absolutely.
You doff your cap to that.
Angelo Tyro coming saying, wrong, Sean, you must add Pythagoras' theorem and PTSD for standard grade maths.
I was never good with maths either, so I get you, Sean.
I know your strong point, no?
Nah, not at all. English for me.
Good. Let's when we talk about squaring the hypotenuse and all that, is that no good for you?
Speaking of goals, right, before we wrap up, that's been almost a full half of football, but since it's my last couple of days, I'm going to indulge myself a wee bit, right? Tony, I can almost hear your eyes rolling, right?
No.
Yep, it's a wee quiz for you.
All right, okay.
Right. Oh, he's getting nervous. He's getting nervous now. No. It's fairly straightforward, right? Fairly straightforward. And I'm thinking we go. You ever watch BT Sport Extra with the Sutton and McCoist on it?
I do sometimes, but I don't catch it.
The quiz, you get a guess each, right? So a turn each to guess, right? So there's 5 answers to this, so somebody will win it, right? Presuming you get it at all, right enough, but I think you will. Right, so we'll go a guess each, and since there's an odd number of answers, somebody will come out on top. So the question is, and remember, you've got comments there, that doesn't mean the comments will be correct when they throw in answers at the side. So since 2000, 2001, since that season, right? Since season 2000, 2001, 5 different players have finished Celtic top goal scorer in 2 or more seasons. So for the avoidance of doubt, well, Kyogo is about to do it. The season's not finished, so he's not one of the answers, right? So we're looking for 5 different players who have finished Celtic top goal scorer in 2 or more seasons since 2000, 2001. Who's going first of all?
Sutton, Larsson, surely.
Right, hold on. One guess each.
All right, one guess each. Right, so, Larsson then, clearly.
Well, Ryan, are you going to make me take his first answer?
I can go with the flow.
Right, all right.
You're
Right, yes, Larson, 1-0 to Tony.
Right. Edward.
1-1.
I have to guess again, ever.
Aye, sure guess, aye.
Scott McDonald.
Yes, aye. He done it 07-08 and 08-09. By the way, Larson done it 4 times, just in case anybody was wondering. But
I'll go through it. I was going to say Griffiths, but I think he was only one. Did you say something?
No, he's not said something. Well, he did say something, but he chose Larson for his answer.
For two seasons. I'm going to go for Hooper.
Hooper's correct. Aye, he's pulled that out of the bag there, Tony. So, Tony, just by virtue of the fact you went first, you can get it.
I've got to say Griffiths. Surely Griffiths was the...
Aye, it is Griffiths. Well done. Aye, 3-2. I thought one of these would get something wrong. I thought one of these would say Dembele or something. Aye, fair play. So, Larson done it 01, 02, 03, 04. McDonald done it 08, 09. Hooper done it 11, 12, 13. Griffiths done it 15, 17. And then Edward done it 19, 20, 21. Kyogo's about to do it, so it'll be 6. It'll be 6 players that have done it since the turn of the century. McDonald was a great shout, by the way. I didn't think you would remember McDonald. But
I'm an old guy, I remember what I mean, man.
So,
I remember McDonald. That's when I was
at the quiz, Tony, for once. Fair play.
Good question, though.
Mm-hmm.
There might be more where that comes from before we finish for the week.
I know that. Just to embarrass
Get swatted.
Hey, there you go. But, well, that is a full half of football. Ryan, hope you've enjoyed that, my good friend. Better get used to it, because you and Aidan will be sailing this ship once Sean departs or walks off the plank on Friday. But there you go. We will not be shoving him, to be fair. That's but yeah, Friday will be one of those days, I think. Yes, we'll deal with Friday when it comes. But yes, everybody. Tony, Plunge McNugget. Here's a comment that how old I am. Tony, there you go. Yes, indeed. What can I say, Sean, to that? What I will say is they gave us James McGrory and Paul McStay, didn't they?
And now they've gave us young Ryan McGinlay too. So Steve McGrory says, good solid debut, Ryan. I agree with that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I agree with that. I think he was talked through the game by the 2 guys next to him playing alongside them. Don't know if they spoke him well through the game, but hey, we'll try and look after the fella. You know what I mean?
Happy to be the water carrier, the DDA for this one.
At this moment in time, before it becomes all about you.
Thanks very much for having me, though.
Pleasure. Well done. Enjoyed that, Sean, as always.
Yep.
But guys, Thursday night deadline. Here it is. 2 tickets for Celtic versus Rangers, Scottish Cup semi-final. Potential history in the making, all for a click of a button. www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. It'll cost you £4 for 4 months for unlimited access to everything that's written on the website. Get those forms in. Existing subscribers, there'll be a form in your email box. Fill it in. You'll be in a mix for the prize. New subscribers, you'll get that form as soon as you hit that subscribe button. Fill it in. Send it back to us. Midnight, April the 27th, Thursday. Draw will be made on Friday, April 28th. You've got to be in the mix for it. Fill the forms in, get them back to us, and you could be at Hampden. You might even meet your old dad here. But there you go, for every yin, there's a yang, isn't there? But that's what they say. And we also say thank you to SENECA. And everybody knows the Celtic Way Morning Briefing is now sponsored by SENECA Medical Group. SENECA are the #1 hair transplant company in Europe, and they offer innovative hair restoration treatments. And you can find out more about SENECA via the links in the description of this video. Gentlemen, Ryan, stellar contribution, more than a solid debut at the Ryan McGinlay ... 8. Sean, I would say.
I think so, yep. I think so.
Sean, first class as always. Your old dad, just a steady, constant Cameron Carter Vickers 8, I think you would find. But there you go. Guys, thank you for your comments. We love the comments. Wonderful community that we're built on here. Thank you for your subscriptions. We really do appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, give us a bash, guys. You might enjoy it. We'll see you tomorrow for Thursday's edition. Same time, same place, same back channel, as they say. Sean and Ryan, 10 o'clock-ish. Just because Pete McGee sometimes it's a bit annoyed if we don't turn up bang on 10. But hey, got to do some research. Kid on, we know what we're talking about trips, haven't we? Yep. But have a wonderful day. Take care, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Cheers, Tony. Cheers, Ryan. Cheers guys.